I'll bring it up later. We have the wrong day of the week. Okay.
On the what?
It says 4th Tuesday.
Got it.
Yeah, but look, all right. Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. And I will call this meeting to order. The South Valley Preparatory School Governing Council. We're gonna do an introduction of guests. So we have 2 guests with us today. Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yes. So my name is Sam Colombo. I'm the campaign manager for 24/7 New Mexico. So I'm here to just do a brief comment.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do that now? Do you want to just is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can let us know what you.
Great. So I met a couple of you a couple months ago, but I manage the 24/7 campaign, which works to make New Mexico schools nicotine free. So we work with districts and charters to adopt, implement, and enforce a comprehensive tobacco and nicotine policy. And what that means is that under a truly comprehensive policy, it'll prohibit use, possession, and distribution of all nicotine products by anyone, anywhere, at any time. So 24/7, which is where the name comes from. And there's actually a new rule that I'd like to make sure that charters and districts know about that the New Mexico Public Education Department put in place in November 7th, 2023, where now all public charters and districts are required to have a 100% comprehensive policy. So we worked with them on that with our youth advocates across the state to strengthen statewide nicotine and tobacco policy rules, which is great. But not every district knows about it, not every charter knows about it. And more importantly, even if they know about it, a lot of districts and charters don't know what they actually need to do to adopt and implement a comprehensive policy. So that is what we are doing right now. We have a model policy that I believe I emailed over last time, and I'm happy to email again, as well as I have a copy of the new PED rule for reference if a new policy is gone forward with. But just to, based on like what I did see from the tobacco policy that this charter currently has, it needs to stay at all times so that there's no loopholes around when people can be using these products. It also needs to expand on what's prohibited past just the word tobacco, so including nicotine, and just like expanding that because there's a lot of evolving nicotine products every single day. And it also should specify that the school will provide cessation resources as well as progressive and supportive discipline. Specifically the progressive supportive discipline for students who are found in violation of the policy, as well as cessation resources for anyone, staff, or students who are found in violation of the policy, which we have examples of in our toolkit. I believe I left a physical copy or sent a physical copy, but I'm happy to also send a link to our website where all of that is available for free. And we have examples for pretty much everything you could need in the process of like sample language or resources that will aid in the process.
I'm saying.
No, you're good. It requires that districts and charters supply their schools with proper signage, which I did also send to the school as well. And if at any point there's a need for more signage, just let us know because we provide that free of charge. We can also provide a faculty training video and anytime new signs are needed as well. And if there is a want for us to help with the process of updating the policy, we can help as much as you would like. But basically, I just encourage the council to consider these new updates that are required by the state and review the PED rule as well as ask for any help that you need because I'm happy to do a deeper analysis of the policy and help in any way, shape, or form. And that's about it. So thank you for inviting me to come back this month.
Thank you for coming
and for your time.
Did you identify our school or did you notice that we didn't already have the signage or like I'm just curious, or if you're going to every single school, you know, and checking it out.
I wish I could. Since there's there's so many schools, I can. I just will choose pretty much I'll do my research each month to see like which board meetings or council meetings I want to go to. There was nothing like stand out about like this is urgent.
She looked at the
Most-
pictures on the website of governing council.
I didn't get there.
Basically, you were just one of the schools that I decided.
No,
No, your policy is like pretty much what most people have right now. It's not like bad. But yeah, we just try and go to, I basically, and our students will go to as many council or board meetings as we can.
nice.
And I'm trying to do some, right this year, trying to do some more like local charters as well. Because the past few years I've been going to a lot of like further away districts, and then I think Albuquerque is a place where a lot of schools could use assistance as well. So.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. Do we have a certain time frame to get like in compliance or?
There's no, you need to do it by this date. The requirements were effective when it did go into place in 2023. As far as I know, there's nothing bad that's going to happen. It is just a rule that should be followed.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I do agree. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I do have this here because I always just bring them just in case, and I'll leave a copy of the PED rule that I left last time as well,
Thank you so much.
and a couple things. That's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you all.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming back.
Yeah. And yeah, always nice. Amazing. Well, yeah, feel free to email me if you want to move forward in the process and need my help.
No, definitely. Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, well, thank you all.
Nice to have you. Have a good night.
I'm Crystal Avalos. I am currently the principal at TAP Middle School. I am here because I want to see what's going on at South Valley Prep. What's going on here?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. How long have you been at TAP?
1 year.
Oh, wow, very
Yeah.
cool.
Where were you before that?
I was at Governor Bent. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. All right, so we'll do a roll call attendance. Brittany brought it as chair. Chair, I'm present. Bernadette, can you tell me how to pronounce? It's Fritz. Okay, somebody else was saying it different. Okay, Bernadette Fritz.
I'm here.
Okay, Melissa Toledo Ontiveros.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you for jumping on too online.
Yeah.
Jessica Montoya.
Here.
Thank you. And Charlotte Trujillo.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum of 5.
Do you mind if I go to my water real quick?
No, yeah. All right, and then I didn't see any emails for public comment, and I don't see anybody on now.
It was just Sam.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll move down to number 3, which is consider approval of today's agenda. Everybody, if you didn't get that email, I know that there was an issue here, but she got it and was able to look at it.
Yeah, we reviewed everything.
Does anybody have any questions, issues, or anything? If not, I'll give a consideration for to move it.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I will second it. We'll do a roll call vote. Brittany Martinez, yes. Bernadette just stepped out for water. Melissa Toledo Ontiveros.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jessica Montoya.
Yeah.
And Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, now next is gonna be Baylor with the executive.
Thought it was approval of minutes.
Oh, sorry, I just skipped right over that. If I could also get a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting, and it was a very short meeting that we had.
I'll, motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Thank you, I'll second it. We'll do a roll call vote. Brittany Cardenas, yes. Bernadette just stepped out. Melissa Toledo Ontiveros.
Yep.
Sorry, this is for the minutes. Sorry about that, Melissa.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, and then Jessica Montoya?
Yes.
Thank you. And Charlotte Trio?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Baylor, now we are on to the executive director's report, and everybody should have a copy of that as well.
Yeah, it's, the report really highlights a lot of the potential policy changes, not just the ones that are identified in our are listed as action items, discussion and action items today, but I actually put in there as well some other policy changes that I'm suggesting for you all to look at that's gonna be in the future. So the bylaws, specifically, we were asked by PEC to insert, instead of the PEC coming up with their own actions and their own strategies for how do you deal with a school where, there's fewer than the remaining board members could do a form, or there's zero. And we were super fortunate to be in literally front row seat when that one school, Six Directions, was experiencing that. What I got was that, if you could chime in, Brittany, was they didn't want to close the school. They wanted to give them a chance. So the chance was they handed it to the school board to charter schools. You guys come up with your own. What are you gonna do, folks? Leave. The PED has actually seen, and the PEC's attorney has actually seen this blurb that we have.
Okay.
It's straightforward. I think it's almost like, hey, Piglet, did you make this up? Kind of. Kind of. Because that's what the PEC kind of wanted us to do, was come up with something.
And they had support from the school there, students and parents. So you just think that, like, if that support isn't up there inside, they just want to make sure that we're kind of crossing our T's.
No, the one thing that I did want to point out, if there was if there was still one single board member left, that board member could nominate, and you could build your board again back to the minimum of 5. But what if it falls to 0? The one thing that I think it's unique with us is I did put in here soliciting assistance from founders if they're still around, and for them to nominate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then it goes to the school leadership team or equity council.
Yeah, which is one and the same.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that it's like an added protection. I wonder, I'm just curious, I wonder if that's ever happened. I think that was like the first time it's ever happened. I
I'm
remember
sure it's
all of
happened
that.
before.
Oh,
But it's probably similar to when charter school first starts up. I mean, who actually nominates and gets the vote? There's nobody on there, right?
right.
So
Right.
that's kind of the thinking with this strategy.
Okay.
I'm sure what it does, that would be the approach.
I think that looks good.
And that is required. There's some stuff that you'll need to sign as a chair at some point. The thing that I also wanted to highlight, the next page, is the staff. There's an area in there where you accrue, where staff accrue sick leave, and it carries it over to the next year.
You want to eliminate it.
I do want to eliminate it. Let me tell you why, because the school has had an enrollment of up to 180, 185 or something like that. I want to say it might have even been more, but in STARS, when I look back, the year I got here, I want to say it was 186 or something of that sort. We're at 141, 142, fluctuating between that. Currently, we're at I want to say 143. This time last year was at 145. And right now, we're sticking with the 2 strands, not
Okay.
expanding to the,
Right.
not expanding third. And our cap is 210. Here's the thing: even if we wanted to get to 210, heck, even if we wanted to get to 160, I don't think we could do it.
Capacity.
I mean, we just trying to get to 156 students, which is the 2 strands. We didn't get that last year. We didn't get to it this year.
Mhm.
And so that's a reality. I think it's just stuff that has happened. I'll use the word, and I've used it at PEC, use it here. I do think the 6th through 8th grade model is a dying breed.
Yeah.
You guys know 6th through 12, we got lots of those now. And of course, we got K through 8 schools. And so I'm going to leave it there. I think it's a discussion for to the board to see potentially what direction, or no direction, keep it the way it is. But with that said, because of the small size, we've had to right size. I mentioned it last month and mentioned it at finance that we've significantly cut back on staffing. That's what I meant by right sizing. But with that said, our staff, our teachers still have pretty significant amount of prep time. It's like 480 minutes per week. Crystal, how much is it in APS for middle schools?
A little bit less than that.
A lot less. It's
A
like
lot like
225.
this, yeah.
225.
Half of that.
Really?
Half of
Yeah, and we have adjusted, modified start times, so there's evening events, we let staff come in, part of our calendar, come in later that day instead of staying all day. We have quite a few of that stuff. This year, we have our 2 SEL interventionists, they're paid as subs. They're able to relieve teachers. I think there's a lot of perks, in the trade-off of, being at a smaller school and the trade-off of not having to carry over some of the sick time. Because I am thinking financially, that's for a small school to kind of accommodate that. So I don't think it's wise. So that's my thoughts.
I have a couple of questions on that. So it's gonna be a use it or lose it, right?
Mhm.
So how is that changing the time off? Do you know what I mean? Like the staffing, I mean, you would maybe at the end of this school year, you would maybe have teachers that are all like gone at the same time because they all need to use their days off, or else they're gonna lose
Yeah,
it.
I
And
think
then are you giving the option to pay out? Sorry, I didn't even.
there's no payout.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think even last year, I think folks were trying to use up. I'm super nice. I never say no. But I always say, hey, you know what? Two of you, if you're in special ed, 2 of you are gone. Hey, can you stagger it? I mean, we'll do that. That is an issue, right?
Right.
You lose it if you don't use it, but the other option is carry it over. Someone is out for a whole month, like, I don't know.
No, I totally see, I think there should be like a cap whenever you're stacking it anyway. But I'm just wondering, like, is that, like
An incentive to go,
promoting?
yeah.
Yeah, you're promoting and it's at the end of the school year, too, usually for something like that.
It's usually, most of it is sick. It's not straight up PT. I don't know what they have at, I was gonna say SciTech, but, Target or ASLA. Some charter schools do a straight out PTO, 12 PTOs. We don't do that. We have like, you accrue 10
Yeah.
sick days and then there's 2 days of PTO.
Do your staff know about this proposed change, like,
Yeah.
and how, what's the reaction?
Um,
I mean, I can assume.
it's mixed.
So, wait, okay, I'm a little bit confused. So did you say, because I get, for Leo, if we don't use our PTO, it rolls into sick time.
Say it again?
If we don't use our PTO, it rolls into sick time.
For the same
It's
year,
major different buckets.
or do they
that's why.
do it to the next year?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it just accumulates, like I have 260 something hours of sick leave because I rarely took off when Baylor was there.
Well,
So now
I'm gonna be super transparent. The school can't afford that.
No, right, no, and that's a much bigger, that's a
Yeah.
staff, like you think about, there's substitutes and stuff.
I can say from experience of being in this position years ago, we did not have sick leave that rolled over. I don't know when in the time frame of SVP. I mean, I get it, as you grow bigger, you're able to do that, but I remember us not rolling sick time over. And then there might have been a discussion of saying, okay, if we're gonna roll over, you can only roll over 30 hours maximum each year. And so even if you didn't use your, let's say you ended up with 80 hours next year, you still could only roll over 30 hours. So there was some cushion for people that in case they needed additional time. And then also setting up sick bank leave, so that if you do have a staff member that needs additional time, other
And
people
that's
can
still in
double it.
there. It's still in there. But my suggestion is just to sit on it. It's not on the agenda, but I did want to make sure you guys were aware of it. So in March or April or May, when it's on there, at least you guys have an idea of like, hey, I think this is the direction we need to take, and send it to me ahead of time. That way we can kind of have the different options, and you guys can decide on it.
Can I ask a really quick question? How many hours rolled over from last year to this year?
Don't
Was it a
know.
ton? Like, was it a
I'll
problem?
have to, I don't think it was a problem.
Because I just feel like there's no incentive for somebody that like doesn't take time off. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
No,
And like
again,
that's, it's almost the incentive is if you,
go take all
yeah,
of it.
to use it all, otherwise you're gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we'll talk as it comes down.
Other changes are, I think the current handbook is 8 hours, workday. It's really 7.5. Minus the lunch, but I think that also there's just some, like, some of the stuff that was included in the staff handbook had like places where you could sign physically, what signatures. In the, what we're looking at is just doing it digitally, acknowledgement digitally through Vector.
Okay.
Everybody does the safe schools, and we can actually post it on there and have folks acknowledge that way.
I can do it.
We added a description of health, based on what you had suggested last time, and we specified it for 8th grade.
For high school credit?
Yes, but it's not required for high school credit. You're like looking at me like,
It's not optional.
it's an option.
Well, you could, as a charter school, you get to decide, right?
Yes.
How you want to do it. APS has made it a
It
requirement
isn't required.
for APS, but it's an option for.
I guess
So
my-
kids can opt into doing it for high school credit, or?
They could. My hesitation with that, because you could end up with a K-8 licensed health endorsed
Right.
teacher. And I don't know if that will now be able to count, we said it's going to count.
And so what is curriculum is going to be different, then, right? Like, the requirement for high school credit is going to be a lot
It's high
different
school.
than middle school.
Yes.
And it's not going to be like a socially promoted, so if the kiddo doesn't show up, or they have a lot of absences, or, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of the equivalent to what would be required at the high school level.
So that's a good question,
Because
because,
it's gonna go on a transcript,
yes, a good question, because you know,
so if they don't
The social
have,
promotion piece.
right, you can't socially
that
promote
may
when
be
it's a
the
high
only
school
class that
requirement.
you can socially promote and get a failing grade, therefore you don't get.
You don't get
The credit.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking a lot about that, right?
But the credit is also tied to a secondary license, that's why I didn't want
Right.
to say you had to.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
And again, with the student parent handbook, there's places where you can sign in date. I just thought that, we probably need to have it just be during registration. Parents can they don't have to do a wet signature
Mhm.
to acknowledge. The other thing that popped up was just a little bit tighter definition of racialized aggression. Again, that's what was being asked in, not the 90-day plan, but our NM dash. It's required. They were asking for something more specific. And so we provided a definition for that, actually based on PED's definition, and included it under the bullying harassment portion. So it wasn't big changes in the handbook, just providing more definition for it based on what PED was wanting. Again, the student parent handbook and the staff handbook are not on this agenda, but just something to ponder and look at. I'm gonna move over to the financial policies and procedures section. There's a current column, a proposed changes column, and a comments, well, mainly my comments column. The current section, there was a lot of words used like principal, administrator, administrative assistant, executive director, and so forth. I just made a consistent head administrator. And also use of the term administrative assistant. In my head, and Justine, thanks for reviewing as well too, is in my head, it's the business manager and his or her designee who's carrying out
Right,
a lot of this stuff. And so that kind of covers the administrative assistant piece.
that's a lot.
And there was other words like clerk and so forth. It's in the end, it's the business manager or his designee and head administrator or the chief procurement officer. Why the or? Because sometimes the head administrator doesn't have a CPO. The contracted business managers can't serve as the CPO. So we would have to find a salaried CPO. It's not the head administrator. Let's see. I mean, I think there was other things used like South Valley Prep, SVP, SVP. We just wanted to make it consistent. So we actually spelled those things out. South Valley Preparatory School. Let's see here. Again, there was terminology in that middle portion of the columns. Administrative assistant being replaced, and executive director being replaced with head administrator and business manager. Underneath that, types of purchases. In the current one, it talks about vendor to provide name and telephone number. Little, I just said contact information. And I realized most everything's email.
Right.
Things of that sort. And there was one thing that I had put in there at the very bottom of the current policy, which is the ability to use existing contracts, whether it's CES or whether it's piggybacking on an RFP that says that you can piggyback off of this RFP. Typically, APS will do that. One of the few that I know of. Even if we didn't put that statement in there by statute and regulation, we still could. But I thought, we'll make it specific. We'll specify that we could piggyback or use existing contract like CES, because it doesn't actually say that right now. Nothing wrong with it, it just doesn't say it, so.
Okay.
The next one involves timesheets, time clocks. There's a section in there. And we'll always go with our business management and our payroll specialist, Evan Dorr, who's through the Beal Group. And there were some folks that were filling out time sheets or time cards who were not substitutes. We know they got to fill out time cards, time sheets, or those who are working extra hours for whatever reason. They're part-time. We have an assistant to the business manager, like Ashley Baranka. She's part-time. If she was to do extra work for us, then she should fill out time cards.
Yeah.
But everyone else who's salaried, according to Evan, I do trust him, don't necessarily need to fill out a time card.
You don't.
So that's kind of a big one from the previous, from the current financial policies and procedures to the one that's proposed that we need that.
Is there like a cap though that says this is how much they get paid? They don't work over this many hours or anything
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
usually
Okay, yeah,
like
so-
in the form that we're using is our payroll specialist through the Beal Group is asking us to use. It's the I forgot the term, but that's where you would put it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, then you don't need a time sheets.
Yeah, we had we had salaried staff who were filling them out. And you recall that, like salaried staff.
I remember back in the day, we would have to, if they were a level 3 EA Title I school, they had to fill out timesheets.
That's interesting.
Oh, because they probably were maybe splitting on the time between operational and right? No.
Was it like an invoice type of?
No, it was just a timesheet of salary and staff.
Our
Yeah.
EAs that level of detention.
REAs at ASLA do timesheets.
I'm gonna move on. MOU between the school and foundation. This is kind of a big one. Option 1 and option 2, what was the difference?
We gave us both of those, right?
Yeah, difference is,
Oh, yeah, I heard this.
here it is, there's nothing prohibiting a foundation member to be on the governing council. So option 1 is prohibiting it. Oh, let me make sure we get this right. Option 1 is prohibiting that practice. Option 2 is not prohibiting that practice, but the person would have to recuse themselves if it deals with anything with the foundation or the governing council.
Is this on the agenda?
It is on the agenda.
Oh, it is, oh,
Yeah. This happens to be one that probably should be decided tonight because it's what the PEC wants from us. My personal is I think you can, because I'm interested in always filling GC positions. And that you can, but you just have to recuse yourself.
oh, where would the line be? Like, where would you accuse yourself because of your day?
If you were to ever be in a position where the nonprofit was an acting agent on behalf of the school to purchase a facility,
Oh,
things
okay,
like that.
okay,
I mean, or,
Like very
or,
specific.
program requests, right? I guess that would go to the board, it wouldn't necessarily be in this. GC,
Yeah, I actually
but-
can't think of anything that we would do in particular, so we asked for, like,
Cause I sit on the foundation.
we asked for, stuff to help programs,
Right, program requests.
right? I didn't see any conflict in that, you're giving the school money. And,
It's the opposite, it's when the school is
Yeah.
giving
right,
the nonprofit,
because
so,
sometimes foundations act as the one who own the building,
right.
right?
we carry the foundation can carry the mortgage.
Yeah.
For the building, so that the school would be paying the foundation,
Receiving money.
receiving
But
money.
in this case, it's like the foundation does like, just like, what is it, like fundraising type of stuff, right? Yes, okay.
Yeah, you're not holding a building for us, you're not the one with lease.
I'm just there.
Okay,
And that's our unique, I would say if that was the case, and another, then we would definitely want it
Right.
separated.
It
right,
is the mission of the board, but the board never had to follow up in that mission because of the the acquisition of this
right,
building.
right.
So the board never had to act as that. So now the board just is functioning basically on, just functioning.
Existing.
Existing, the foundation board.
So option 1 is prohibiting, option 2 is allowing.
I mean, allowing, but I mean, if it becomes an issue later on, it could be amended, right?
Yeah, and you can also, as board members, can step in.
Yeah, I would lean towards option 2, obviously. It will, you know. Neither one, well, I think that, yeah, we would just be putting, I'm sorry, I can't even think of the words, I'm trying to make things harder if we went with option 1. so-
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that the rest of the council, if they see something wrong, that you can't
Exactly.
say anything because you can.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm gonna move on to, again, they're all, this MOU plus the proposed charter contract is all related. It's something that PC wants us to address. The mission-specific goal did change a little bit. We are focusing on that. Instead of the qualities for success, we have a multitude of traits and characters that we've seen in the past. It is focused on just the grit piece.
All the, rather than the whole,
rather than the whole, yeah. And the grit scale was adapted from the original grit scale. I'm familiar with it. And there is a, in the BEC, we were there, Bridget, appreciate you going. They actually gave us a little bit of an out. Hey, your kids don't have to meet this threshold of 21 points or higher or whatever. They said it's 21 points or gain of.
Right.
So super thankful that they brought that up because I didn't think of that. So the teachers didn't think of that. So that's a good positive suggestion and it's in the draft contract.
Yeah, I like it.
mhm.
That way you make a significant improvement.
Even if you don't meet
You're
the,
gonna get the recognition,
Right.
yeah.
All of the credit for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna direct you guys to, I think, page 10 of 11. It's in blue markings, blue, it's in, the font is blue. It's on the final version of the ed program. There, I think that might be it. If you guys take a look, just a little bit there, second. I'll point out number 2, for example. I know that, success for all was what's used.
Mhm.
I actually didn't necessarily want a specific program, just in case.
Yeah.
Because there was even talks last year of, hey, we should switch and all that. So I didn't want to lock in the school, in the future. Well, even with special ed, you don't necessarily say a specific program,
Right.
it might change, right? So kind of the same thinking, made it a little bit broader. But we'll still have daily reading instruction and that basically drop everything and be a reading teacher, regardless of what your subject area is. Still happening. That's unique. I did kind of combine number 3, service learning and outdoor experiences, and worded it that way. The previous, it doesn't mean we couldn't do Cottonwood Gulch for 7th graders like it was before. It doesn't mean that. It's just not in there.
It's not specific.
It's not specified in there. You gotta do it every year.
Right.
And so that was
Makes more
the
sense.
thinking, was just making it a little bit broader.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still service. Oh, there's still outdoor experience, but it doesn't necessarily lock us into this grade is going to do this, and this grade is going to do this. So
It just locks us into the outside.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it.
I always say that if you're going to get assessed on, if you're going to get evaluated, it's high stakes. I don't want all of the stuff in there. I just, we can still do it. It's just that it's not one I would recommend we be evaluated on every year.
I agree.
Number 4 too, it's I think it's good to continue free after school program.
How many of our students use?
About 38 on average.
That's awesome.
I know, it's great.
That's so good.
It's good. I'm curious about keeping the word free, only because if there were a situation where, you didn't have the finance.
Sharp, good question. Because I actually
Later
was
on down the line.
anticipating, I was actually anticipating, and I'll send you like a little draft budget. For next year, 2025, 2026, I was actually thinking 2026 and 2027, if we don't get 21st century and all that. Literally, I have it like, okay, folks aren't making 35, they're making 25 if you're a coordinator. Folks aren't making 25, they're making 20 instead.
Yeah.
And these are the things that will be open. And I do think it still needs to be free.
I agree.
It's one of those that's
100%,
like,
yeah.
hey, you know what? We got parents that, some of them, many don't take advantage of transportation.
Mhm.
And at least they can leave their kids here.
Right.
So we thought about that, and that was a shift too. it's not in the report, but we dropped our vendor, right? Our food vendor,
I,
dropped our vendor. Super expensive. We were having to shell out from operational.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
I think that's everywhere.
Yeah.
At every charter school.
We fortunate enough to have a person that said, hey, you know what? We'll order the stuff and we'll prep. We already are saving a whole lot.
Really?
And, oh my gosh. It doesn't get out yet, but I'm like, hey, we may be able to hire an assistant, full-time assistant food server out of this thing and not be in the hole. We might actually be.
That's great.
Oh, and also too, we were paying out of ESSER, and Al, if you're still on, Al's still on, we were paying out of ESSER that food service person even part of this year, but now I think she probably paid for herself.
And
Wow.
the waste,
Well,
food
the
waste that
waste,
was
yeah.
thrown away was insane.
Mhm.
You have to
So-
guess.
It's totally doable. I think for free. Just,
No,
We
What
will-
about added language, like, free?
remember, we
Well, yeah.
downsized, right-sized, and we were using like Title I for part of the assistant principal, and then the rest for a parent liaison. And that was part of the shift in 2026, 2027. It was, hey, we'll use Title I to keep bolstering after school and a little bit of summer if we don't get 21st century literature. But in the event we don't.
there might be a question about Title I now too, but you never know. But I mean, I think just making a caveat here, or like adding something, you know, in the event, or, you know,
Funds
Yeah,
are short.
funds.
Yeah, I mean,
funding,
just like a
looking for
safeguard.
grants,
Yeah.
or, I mean, because you're now, if it's part of the contract, I'm only saying that because now you're obligated to provide it until
No matter
2030,
what.
right?
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yeah.
which I
It is-
think,
Now, it is wide enough to say we're only providing it for half the year. You could do it that way. I just know that, yeah.
You
I
can
just-
even say while like feasible, you know, like.
Yeah, and it could be right now, last year we were going till 6 o'clock. This year we said, 5:30 is good. It doesn't pin you to
That's true.
another, and why I'd say to keep it free is, you saw the commissioners were like, we were there like, wow, you're like, that would be great. And, okay, fine.
and we've done it free for years, sorry. I mean, I know that, I don't think we've ever, in my experience at South Valley Prep, we ever charged for after school.
Yeah, and I'm super confident, even if 21st century went away, which
Yeah.
I don't think it will, but even if it did, we can more than meet the free piece by just adjusting a little bit of the hourly rate, and maybe it doesn't go all the way through the end of the year. It might just go through the beginning of May, and it starts in September, which we did this year, by the way.
Mhm.
It doesn't completely pin school down.
That's true, yeah, it is. Multiple, but.
But
I mean,
There is a but.
I'm thinking because, things are moving, things are happening.
I don't think,
So if something were to happen and it's like, huge hit to the school, it's anything, that is the reason that, doors have to close. So maybe there is like a language, like very easy, that could be added there, in the event of, I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Exactly, something like that.
in the event of lack of funding or,
In the
access to
event where,
funding.
staff or funds.
You know what I would say to that?
Isn't available.
Well, say to that, you can always get in the charter amendment.
Oh, yeah,
That's
so
true.
then you'll just leave it as is.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I know you're probably a lot like me. It doesn't matter if you didn't have the funds, you're probably still gonna do
Yeah,
it.
we figure
anyways.
it out.
Yeah, you can figure it out, but I mean,
It'll
I
be
just don't wanna
It'll
keep
be on
the,
teachers' PDPs on.
that in there, you're stuck to it.
Just joking.
But yeah, that is, I see the worry there, but if we can just imagine if we have to, which I don't.
Which we can.
Yeah.
Which we can.
Well, it makes sense.
I'll wrap it up here. Condition when improving math performance is really vague. It's 90-day plan. It's submitted 3 times a year. We'll make progress with it.
Who does your night? Do you do it by yourself?
Well, with our leadership team. when I wrote up my board report, the audit wasn't released yet. So I was talking in circles
Yeah.
in here. But now we can talk openly about it.
Right.
You know, we got some strategies. You know, the Behill group came in January 1st, so just a couple of months. But we're working with them on a mini grant to help clean up from the beginning of the year. And we're also working with Mary Schofield, another external person, with matters, CPA, to kind of rebuild the June 30th, 2024 statement. And that way we can start a little bit cleaner.
And just on that note, it's things are moving a lot smoother, I think.
We are, but just to let you know, when the audit was released, I know I felt pretty good. There's 4 other people in it.
In our boat.
But the truth of the matter is, it's going to take at least 2, maybe 3 years, and because we're obviously over halfway through this.
Right. It just came out.
The next audit year, yes.
Yeah.
And things are already rolling. But the goal again is for a disclaimer to modify. I'm hopeful we may be able to jump into unmodified opinions. So
We're
but
on
those-
top of it as soon as, before it was even actual problem, so.
Is this little document down here,
the award letter from
award letter for,
yeah, we got a $10,000 mini grant, and that's what we're using for extra work for the Behill
Okay,
Schofield to
I can't read that at all.
That's great,
Yeah.
that's great that you guys got that, that's fantastic.
super happy with that.
Right on, there you go.
That was part of the strategy.
All right, thank you, Baylor. So we'll move down to item number 6, which are our action items. Is Christina there?
She's not, but we can get her back on.
Okay, yeah, just to go over quickly with everybody, just maybe the bars and everybody has the packet.
Yes, we do.
Bless you.
No kidding.
That felt good for me.
Right?
Oh, man, I've been trained back and forth. That's not good.
It's like a 3-hour drive, I'm on the train, 2 hours.
It's
Is it 2 hours?
It's like an hour and 40.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the finances. I was part of the finance committee as well too, and able to review it like at least the week before. And again, my concern is always, hey, by June 30th, do we have enough cash? Are we going to have enough reserve? Hey, Justine, I know you got a minute. I'm like, well, I know you have another meeting in 1 minute,
Yeah, that's fine.
but hey, do you mind just maybe just providing some highlights for our previous month's financial statements?
Yes, I can do that. Does everyone have the financial statements in front of them?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
so really not much has changed. Revenues, I've done, RFRs. I do RFRs on a monthly basis now. I think when we took over the school in January, only one RFR was done for a couple of funds, so I got caught up with the RFRs, and those revenues are coming in. As far as expenses, the school's looking really good financially. I think all of the funds are positive except maybe one. There are some negative functions that I will clean up next month. So I do maintenance for us to clean up any negative functions on a quarterly basis. And I'll definitely do them also before the end of the fiscal year. So always will look good at the function and fund level. But we're doing really well financially. We looked at the purchase orders in depth, and we did close a few purchase orders that we were not going to be using this year, so that freed up some availability. I think that is it as far as the financials.
yeah, and super helpful with Al pointing out like NAMA through ACES had an open purchase order for 169,000. I think we used up about maybe 40,000, but remember we stopped NAMA.
That was the food.
Yes, we
That
stopped
was the food.
food, and that's super large amount of savings.
That's great.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any quick questions?
No.
Justine, okay. Off to your next meeting.
Justine, thank you.
Thank you so much, Justine.
You're welcome, and I can probably jump on, or I can stay on for a little bit if there's any questions on the bars,
Okay.
if you need.
How many bars are there?
I, however, do need to leave to teach class. Do you need me for anything else? That was a lot of information.
15
No, you're okay, Jessica, because we'll still have 3.
cleanup.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you. Enjoy your class.
And thank you,
Bye.
that's made it, if we,
Yeah.
I see lots of Disney on here, which means they're still going, huh?
We're still going, but we've collected right now, we've collected I want to say 80+% of the funds from the parents.
That's fantastic.
Unlike last year,
Oh,
or
yeah.
I know.
right?
Davian
Before
was
we're
in that
going,
boat, remember? We're like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It was
Learned our lesson.
You had a good time.
It's always a good
None of
time.
that
It's
matters.
always
Yeah, well,
relevant. It's
basically the
always
strategy was
relevant.
teachers were taking over this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
My
guys?
strategy was get it paid before Christmas.
It
Right?
was like, yeah, it worked out.
All right, I'll give everybody a couple minutes since you guys are looking after the financials.
Still got charged for the audit, I see.
Right.
Who's supposed to say guy goes?
Student. Oh, no, it's a custodian
Custodian.
services.
Rising Sun, you guys still do stuff with Dante?
We did, but we negotiated with them.
Did you?
Yeah.
He's pricey.
It was pricey.
He was
So
pricey.
we went from
Very.
30, almost 40 to, look, man, we're not paying more than $15,000. He went with it, so.
That's great.
They chucked him out, or something, when they went with somebody else.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
He's expensive.
Are you still contracted with Maria Fidalgo?
There is a open purchase order, but no more. Well, still because she still needs to submit probably one more invoice. The $38,000 for her was for the year, but she hadn't invoiced at all this year. And I've asked her. And I'll reach out to her again. But that
I
one
think that maybe
probably.
she would, yeah, maybe not feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. A highlight, and I think you guys got this last time, was we got a little bit of award from PSF8 to do our next facilities master plan. Otherwise, it would have cost like 34,000. Now it's only 21. So
2021.
yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. We used to pay more of it, I thought. But maybe not anymore. Too many schools at once. I don't have any questions.
What's Sped Track?
Good question. It's the special ed program. It's a special ed program that I think other folks use Power School and.
Is that for the
Synergy.
IEPs?
Yes, IEPs, yes.
Gotcha. Oh, nice.
We may move away from that, we'll see.
But it's not the state farm, right? It's a
Uh,
little bit more
They're
user
required,
friendly.
it's super user friendly. The problem that we may move away from it is cheap, super easy to navigate through, probably easier than like Synergy and even Power School. It's not connected to our student information system. So the reporting piece is a bear.
So you guys are using Power School? No,
No,
Tyler.
we're using Infinite Campus.
that's right. Okay.
Cheap, easy, the sped track, but it's not connected to student information.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm good. Did you say we're good?
Does
No
the
questions?
finance committee ask for backup? You guys, does Al ever ask you for backup? Like, say, just looking at the register and saying, I wanna see the backup for, yeah, the checks that run.
No, I don't think so.
But that's a good idea.
Might be a good idea, just to start. I mean, we could talk about that.
Yeah, we used to do that. I love
Yeah, you would just pick like random three.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
sampling.
Yeah, sampling, yeah.
That's a
And
good
pick
idea.
it, decide what it is before, and
Oh,
then
nice,
send it to
Nice.
them.
And it's just another safeguard for
Right.
auditing. Yeah,
Exactly.
nice.
good idea. All right, so if nobody has any questions, we're ready to, if I can get a motion to consider approval of financial statements from, these are from January, sorry.
I'll motion to approve the financial statements for January.
And I'll second.
Okay, it's just the three of us, so we'll do a roll call vote. Brittany Barreras, yes. Brenda Fritz,
Yes.
and Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Okay, next we have the bars. Did you guys also go through those just now, or? Okay, that's gonna be good.
Bars are always a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of information, but I mean, you can tell that
It's
there's
pretty
a lot of
straightforward.
cleanup.
It's all cleanup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, I'm good with the bars.
Is there anything you want to highlight on the bars?
No, we actually talked about it
Yeah,
already.
you're super, yeah. Cool. Okay, if I could get a motion to consider approval of the bars?
Can I ask a question? Do you approve all the bars at once, or do you?
So we used to do them individually,
Okay.
but then I think that we had agreed at one point that we could do them all together, as long
That's
as,
fine with me
as long as we were voting the same on all of them,
On all of
like unanimous consent.
Right.
Okay. Oh, yeah, 'cause we used to go one at a time.
Yeah,
But this is,
Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, I'm okay.
I
I've already
think we
looked at
could
all
do
of them.
maybe like a 1 through, you know?
we can just motion to approve all the
Okay.
bars presented.
Yeah.
So I'll motion to approve, the bars presented tonight.
I'll second. We'll do a roll call vote. Brittany Barreras, yes. Brenda Fritz.
Yes.
And Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, okay. And then we've got the revision, or if I could get a motion to consider approval of the revision for the bylaws, and that's another,
It's
Are you in the
actually
bylaws?
Financial
Finance.
policy.
Financial policy.
I keep doing the,
It's okay.
I'm tired, I wanna go home on this day.
It's long.
Okay, yeah, we're on 6.3, so it's gonna be the financial
You gave
policy.
it to us already, right?
Yes,
Yes.
and highlighted the changes.
Oh, it's right there.
Yes, yeah.
This one?
So.
Gotcha. That one?
That's the clear one. And electronically too, I actually put like links on the table. It's not just a scanned document.
Which one are we looking at?
It's the one on your right, it's the clean
gotcha.
revised one. The one on the left had the highlighted areas.
Where you
Oh, okay, I see. This is the already, I was like, wait. Okay. This is the CPO business manager.
contact information, makes sense.
Do you have your CPO? You do, right? Yeah.
Last
Who are your two signers?
Myself and we have two that are available. Falco is a teacher, and Anissa Gallegos, who's in the front. And that's over 6,000. 6,000.
Maybe we talked about almost all of them
Yeah, we
anyways,
did.
but
Other than you're just like small and big stuff.
I like the little links that you put in.
So. So travel, I don't know, it might be in here.
Pages of them?
It's
Oh.
on page 6. So if a staff member is going to go to a conference, do you make them sign something that they will have to pay it back if they don't return the next year?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Is that
Well,
what
we
you're
could
going
put
with?
it in-
You see often?
You could always add it later as just a separate policy. It doesn't have to be part of the finance policy, but is it part of the finance? I don't remember it being part of the
I
finance.
didn't see it
policy.
in the current one.
But there, I
I think
think
separate.
it could be separate and
Might
maybe
be in
it's
the
just
form.
something
Might
to,
be
It's a form
Oh,
that they have to agree that they'll pay back if they don't come
That
back.
makes sense.
especially if you invest. I mean, you could always put a limit, like, if you're gonna send somebody for $300, I mean,
Right.
you wouldn't want, but if you're gonna send somebody out of town to a
And
week-long
that probably
conference
goes
and
to
spending a lot of
reimbursement
money.
of, also probably reimbursement of like coursework. Right? Because we actually do that too with our Title II funds.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if they have to pay it back.
We'll pay back, yeah.
That's just something to think about.
None of it is a policy, at least not at this time.
Just something to think about,
Yeah.
maybe. So if you're gonna put that time into training them and then they don't.
That'd be expensive.
Yeah, it could be expensive.
Maybe putting it on a form
Mhm.
that I approve eventually, that you will pay this back.
Or does the
Oh,
board
yeah,
approve
it should be
travel?
like a
Are we
contract.
approving, do we approve
You
travel?
actually do,
We
you do.
approve travel.
out of, yeah.
All right, just a question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
So I'm good with this.
Yes, me too. I'll move to approve the revised financial policy.
One second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Brittany Bonadas, yes. Bernadette Freets
Yes.
and Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, okay. Next, now we're gonna move on to 6.4, which is the bylaws.
The major change obviously is reduction of members below 5, and, or if there's no members.
That's the only change on there.
Yes, we can revise, like Brittany even mentioned, we could do it at the next meeting. We could revise,
Well, I think that now, I mean, you know, like Bernadette didn't even have an opportunity to even go through it,
Yeah.
until now.
we can put it again.
I think that we can add the,
The memberships?
yes, I'm sorry, yes,
That's okay.
the number, and then, I think give a month for everybody to be able to look at it.
Yeah.
Because there was a few more too that I just can't, I can't remember what, yeah, I was getting sick of it.
Are there term limits?
They're
So-
off. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I know that it says in here for officers, it's every year, it's supposed to be every year.
Every year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The current one,
same,
yes.
same.
Wow.
I mean, my suggestion is we got a month is, I could send it out, the Word document, and if you can highlight for me, like, hey, I think it's supposed to be, yeah, or this is the wording I would use
Make
for,
it easy,
yeah.
yeah. That way we don't spend.
So approve what we have on the table now and then bring it up again next month for other revisions.
That makes the most sense.
That makes total sense to me as well. So
Here's the,
The revision. Did everybody saw that, right?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
And this is something everybody has to have this.
right.
I saw that one.
So I can move that we approve, this revision, and then we'll.
This revision.
Yeah, because yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll do roll call, Brittany Buttermilk, yes, Bernadette Freeze,
Yes.
and Charlotte Trio.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, next we have, 6.5, which is, the 2025 through 2030 performance framework.
You sat in on all these negotiations, right, Debbie?
Yeah, well, I was for the contract, and then, we went once, other than that
okay.
one, right, or was it twice? I can't
Oh, right.
remember now.
Yeah.
It's literally right across from the roundhouse, so but yeah, it went really, really well. I mean, it really did. I tell you, they like, obviously when you're proactive, and you accept, anything that's
Feedback.
done wrong, or, just feedback, yeah. Yeah, it's fun to be up there. Cool. Does anybody have any questions on the performance framework?
I don't.
Are we good on it?
I say we're good.
Just really quick, since the audit was released, part of the performance framework is the financial piece. There'll probably be a notice of concern coming.
Okay.
What is that, like,
There probably will be a corrective action plan of some sort.
okay,
And I do think it, just based on what I've seen in the past, it's usually been provide us minutes from your finance committee meetings, things of that nature, to make sure that things are moving along and everything.
That'd be a good time to maybe draft up, like, these are the things that we're gonna do. We're gonna start pulling samples, we're gonna start, those kinds of things. So
Exactly.
if we're proactive in that way, I think we'll be fine.
okay.
Yeah, and we've got,
'Cause we-
yeah,
We even talked about like, having a contract out, with a professional to come in and like help out, but I mean.
that's what Mary's doing.
Well, right. She's sitting in on the, meetings?
She's not, she's
She's
on our
doing like an
audit
audit.
committee, she's
Yeah,
on our
yeah,
audit
yeah.
committee.
Okay. And those are happening how often, like every quarter maybe,
When
or?
we call, probably we need to call one,
I don't think you're required to have an audit committee unless it's like before the audit, maybe one during the audit.
during.
Proactive,
Right.
like. we're
Right.
gonna make sure-
No,
In the end, finance committee really can address a lot of these things. All of it.
You could, but I would still proactively say audit committees meeting with finance. I mean, there's something we could add in there.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm good. I move to approve the 2025 to 2023 performance framework.
2030.
Oh,
Went backwards.
I got dyslexia.
I'll second the 2025 to 2030 performance framework.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote, Brittany Buttermilk, yes. Bernadette Freeze.
Yes.
And Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So next we have the actual contract, which.
And then, the main items in the charter contract are the ed plan that I had mentioned earlier, where we did make each item just a little bit broader, so it doesn't lock the school into doing specific things.
Right.
Also, there's a charter goal, it's also separately being approved, but that was one where they suggested not just a threshold of meeting this score, but hey, if your kids grow a certain amount. I thought was a good suggestion on their end.
Mhm.
I think those are the big highlights. Can't think of anything else that, there's no facilities, issues. We're a little late, maybe we bring that up, but we're a little late with our facilities master plan. It's in process. But technically, our most recent one actually ended on June 30th.
they were impressed, with Baylor setting the bar so high,
Yeah,
and I mean, like, they were, she said she wanted to cry, so.
I don't know if it's so high, to be honest. I mean,
Well, but it's, I mean, I think that it's there, it's just more likely that you're gonna go and be safe.
Yeah.
And you didn't play it safe.
So probably similar with APS charters, and the state charters, there's, unless you're a spotlight school, most folks either take option 2, where you have, just in case, you have your short cycle assessments, your interim assessments. We did choose option 1. We're not option 3. We're not a re-engagement school or anything that has something completely different.
Right.
We did choose option 1. Part of the idea was that it wasn't just for us to be assessed by PD, but to set a high standard in the culture for the teaching staff. I mean, even with, I see teachers that are actually going out, well, one teacher who's going out and pointing during student-led conferences, see this, our math scores have to go up or they'll close us, you know? That's kind of what we wanted.
Yeah,
Was
I mean,
for the teachers to have that urgency, like, yeah, we're gonna need to compete with this, we're gonna need to match at least the state's, average, at least.
What's the designation for the school?
It's the regular one, I can't recall what.
Traditional?
Traditional, yeah, it's traditional. Yeah, it's been traditional, even in some of the times we've been a little bit rough. It always was, we were always beating out Hope, Ernie, always.
South Valley Middle
Yeah.
School.
Not just, even in the subgroups. You know, I think the next step is, hey, we've got to at least try and match or exceed state or at least APS. We did it with reading, with ELA.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's totally
Yeah,
possible.
we've done it before.
You've done it before, yeah.
we're able to do it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I actually think it's like one of the selling points along with the 3 after.
Yeah.
Why would parents send their kids here?
Exactly.
I jumped ahead of this mission specific goal. Why it's all separate is because that's how they wanted you guys to.
Prove it, because it's everything's separate. Consideration of the charter contract. This, right, is, yeah, I guess that's the
Should be
performance
the
framework.
bigger, yes, they're
Charter.
almost similar, like.
I'm okay with it. Bless you.
Bless you.
A motion that we approve the 2025 to 2030 charter contract.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll do roll call. Brittany Butler, yes. Bernadette Fritz?
Yes.
And Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Okay, next we have the, well, we just went over the mission specific goal as well, so if I can get a motion on that, or if we have a discussion.
A motion to approve the 2025-2030 mission specific goal.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll do roll call. Brittany Butler, yes. Bernadette Fritz?
Yes.
And Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right. Moving right along, next we have the condition compliance.
That was the math, condition on the math, low performance in math.
Okay, did we go over that just now as well? I know that
Yes, in my
I've heard it,
report,
but I know-
the
okay,
condition that TC wanted for us was submit our 90-day plan 3 times during the year.
Okay.
And
And
it's
obviously,
laid out
it's
in this.
expecting some progress in which we're confident we will.
This is just the rubric that measures that, right? Pretty much, they just haven't laid it out.
Yeah,
yet.
the, I'm not even sure it's a rubric. There's
Well,
due
it's the
dates.
compliance
Yes,
form, yeah?
yes.
Yeah. I move to approve condition compliance.
I will second the approval. Sorry, the condition compliance.
All right, we'll do a roll call. Brittany Butler, yes. Bernadette Fritz?
Yes.
And Charlotte Trujillo?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have the resolution of South Valley Preparatory School Governing Board 2025 Charter Contract Documents.
It's another
And
form.
just confirming that we,
Which is all of the things in one.
motion to approve the resolution of South Valley Preparatory School Governing Board 2025.
Second.
Whereas the governing, I think you have to read it. Actually, the actual resolution. Whereas the governing board and school staff negotiated the following documents with the Public Education Department for the charter contract for the school of 2025 to 2030.
Read the whole thing.
Yeah, 1, charter contract, 2, performance framework, 3, mission goal, 4, condition compliance template. The governing board hereby reports that it has reviewed and considered these documents at a public meeting on February 26, 2025, and voted to approve them for the charter contract term.
Do I just sign, do we each
Yeah,
sign
well,
ours?
I'll get, I'll,
Okay, no
we'll do
problem.
that after. I would like to.
Oh, yeah, I can tell.
We need a motion to approve, all motion to approve. Yes,
Yes,
yes, motion to approve.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Brittany Bananas, yes. Benita Fritz,
Yeah.
and Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Another one. That's your legacy for helping start this school. It's your legacy. All those years, no, really, I know it's hard to say 2025 to 2030. Yeah, you guys just extend this charter that much. Yeah. So yeah, congratulations, Brittany, for hanging in there.
Yeah, because she was the elder.
I ran on the horse.
And I was
That's awesome.
on the board from like what, 2011.
Like ever,
So
right?
like what, last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
I resigned and let her go.
And I've given Al his flowers too, man, because
Yeah.
he's part of this, like
Absolutely.
you guys are.
I used to be the chair for many, many years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you left some big shoes.
You're doing fine.
So kudos to you guys.
Who's to you, they were.
No, yeah, seriously.
Right? Yeah.
You-
Absolutely. Phil,
Fill it,
touch and go for a while.
And the little wasn't it?
Like,
Hey, what's this thing gonna add? What's this thing gonna add?
It's always touch and go in a charter school, you know, and in some way or something,
Something.
there's always something. that
my
makes
son
it
was here
so.
3 years and had 3 different principals.
I know. And she was so mad at me for retiring.
I enrolled and she's like, I'm retiring. I'm like, what?
You know, it was a rough 3 years.
But it was good.
you did great though.
He did that.
And I will say, and I will continue to say this, the students never felt the tension of the adults in the school ever. They had no clue.
Thank God.
Octavian had no clue what was happening. So that's good.
Yeah, that's great.
And because these are so connected with one another, like,
You don't know.
they know stuff, so yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so next, we have the MOU between the South Valley Prep and the foundation. or
Yeah, pick
and
option
foundation.
1 or 2.
I say option
I
2.
say option 2, because that's just. So I will motion to approve the MOU between South Valley Tech and Foundation with option 2.
I will second that. We'll do a roll call. Brittany Bananas, yes. Bernadette Fritz
Yes.
and Charlotte Trujillo.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
I was gonna say here.
Here, here.
I'm so exhausted.
I know, it's
We're
so
almost-
exhausting.
Okay, next we have the roof repair by
Yeah.
CES vendor, National Roofing.
What's?
Yes.
Take a look at it, guys.
Is that, hold on a minute. I was looking at it.
We have,
I have it, I just, yeah, in this, I just.
oh, we come, I know.
So is this one bid?
It's
'Cause
one
don't
bid
you have to do, you don't have to,
CES, no.
Well, let's see.
not with CES, if you want, would you want to go outside of CES?
No,
Go with the-
no.
And, okay,
Only because if it's outside CES, then
Could you
there's
do
the, obviously the
We have
IR.
to do our.
We gotta do an RFP.
Yeah.
We have to do the RFP.
so it's just easier to do CES?
Yes, so much easier, and we've used CES roofers, we've used at least one other. We actually went with Reputation on this one.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but you
Just
should have
redoing
seen the
the
last
whole-
one. It was a lot of money. It didn't work. See, yeah,
You mean the last time that they did the roof on them?
last two
So
before I
what's
came
the
on board.
protection with going through CVS?
I didn't know if there's a protection. It just keeps us from having to do the RFP ourselves.
It's huge. It's huge. It's a lot of work.
Is that where you have to go to bid with 3 different companies?
Oh,
You have to do 3, right?
No, that's just getting a quote, but an RFP, you have to, it's a whole request for proposal. You have to, it's just a long process.
Yeah, the process is basically like roughly where you,
You put out
if
the
it's over
proposal.
60,
Yeah,
you send out a bid on your website, want to say in the paper, wait 30 days, who comes in, you invite,
The community?
You
the
invite
bidders.
Yeah, the bidders.
Criteria process for us selecting as a RFP
Okay.
committee. It actually, I've been through it a few times. It's pretty acceptable. I'd rather have CES do
Just
the
do-
RFPs.
Okay.
So that's what they do. That's what we're taking advantage
That's
of.
over to you, man.
It is. It's out of convenience, to be honest. It is.
How much, I mean, just out of curiosity, do you remember how much the last?
Last one was, the last two were, one is close to 18,000, which was just a year ago.
That was just repairs.
Yeah, just repairs. And the other one was, Al dealt with that one. I want to say it was like 130,
I think that was when I was here.
and now it's for inflation.
So, I don't know anything about roofs, but
Is that
this is
bigger?
the only type of roof that this building would get.
No, the last one that was about 100 something thousand, was sprayed on one.
Because TPO, right?
Mhm.
This is what we're gonna do now, is
That's what we're gonna
TPO.
do,
That's
yes.
supposed to be a longer lasting,
That's why we said it's
Right.
gotta be a TPO thicker one.
and so that's why it's so much.
Yeah, I think it's a little cheaper for a thinner one. But we said the thicker one, because
It's just a consistent.
And you get like a warranty,
yeah,
like
there's
after
more
so 20-year warranty.
20-year warranty.
on the material. Here's the thing, it is pitched. It's not super pitched, but it is pitched. It's also, believe it or not, it's cheaper than tearing the current roof one.
So just put it over what's already there.
Yeah, probably, I don't think it should have, I'm not a roofer, but I don't think we should have sprayed it with the foam, because now we can't figure out where the leaks are.
Yeah,
Oh, shoot.
that's what the issue is. I remember that.
Here, what they're gonna do is, okay,
It's
there's
like
foam,
a-
how are they gonna put the TPO on top?
Leaking jacuzzi.
The TPO isn't just gonna go on top, they're gonna put like a flat, underlayment,
Like a surf, yeah.
like,
Steel or something?
no, like OBS boards.
Yeah.
Oh,
To
yeah.
make it nice and flat, and then they're gonna put the TPO over.
So then, when would this start?
Now, I mean, as
Like
soon
during
as,
school time?
it's
or
gonna
is it
start
gonna
during
be-
school time, I think it could be done during school time.
Okay.
Because they're not removing anything. They're
I'm not
growing
removing anything, but it is gonna be a bit of an inconvenience with the parking lot, because they're gonna need to get stuff up there. There is still some paperwork with, PSFA, anything over 200,000. So hopefully that won't be too delayed, but we'd like to get it, this year by, because we've got expiring appropriations.
Oh, yeah. So you're trying to use it.
We're trying to use that up,
Well,
yes.
it's a good
All right.
way to use it. I mean, you have the money to do it. This one.
Yeah, we actually, at the next report that I'll have, I'll actually outline all of our expiring appropriations. They were supposed to be used, and still can be used to purchase and expand, but, some of it is, it's gonna go away probably well before any of that happens, so.
Okay.
So this is the other thing that's, that we're using to kind of chip away at the appropriations.
Cool.
We don't want to leave stuff on the table.
No.
It never looks good. And it's needed. you guys can push us back just to let you know the next couple of months or even towards the end of the year. I just wanted to put it on there. Yeah.
Well, what is it?
Just parking lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it won't be, how would you do parent pickup in? On the street?
In the-
I know that's not gonna be good.
It's not gonna be good, but
Yeah,
there's
cluster.
$55,000 that goes to that lot every year.
And how much of a difference is it gonna be, you know what I mean? Maybe there's a way we could encourage bus.
But
or we could
after
encourage-
school, I mean, just having experienced that, that's a lot of traffic.
It is a lot of traffic.
Because
You
when
keep
we're
it.
in the
You
lot,
definitely could keep it.
There's like 3 lanes. I'm just wondering, could you, why it wouldn't even make sense to stagger pickup and drop off to park?
We can have an incentive for carpooling or,
Use the bus.
bus, yeah, bus.
But it doesn't have to be, it's just my
I
suggestion.
mean, you do save a heck of a lot of money on that, but
They're charging too much.
Yeah, Mr. Jerk.
I think you're gonna have to really train parents. I can see kids just trying to dash across the street.
Yeah. We've had that issue too, and then parents trying to park in the neighbor area where he has
With
his
the loose?
trucks.
At the loose-
Over
No, right here.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
yeah.
With the office people and it
Getting
got to
upset,
be
yeah,
really
we're,
dangerous. I'd like to table this.
Yeah, table this.
Yeah, let's do that too, but, just
Just I
because
see it going all the way out to the street
other members could,
Yeah,
and
Have
get
safe
stuck in here.
and maybe it is
see
something
both
that we can
sides.
try and go negotiate with Mr. Durant.
I think it's one thing if he was gonna actually sell it, and then we're,
He likes me.
Well, there you go.
I think
Now
I
we
could
know how
probably,
to-
let me go talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, let's table it, let me go talk to him.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't.
I
Like it would seem like a lot of. like a-
and with the
stuff.
expiration of some of this capital funding, I mean, maybe there's,
buy it outright.
yeah,
Get a
Well,
deal.
And so then if you're not using that, because you use that for PE too sometimes, right? Like
On
because they're out there playing.
On occasion.
So then my worry would be, or concern, so then if we didn't renew it, what would you use that for?
a bunch of equipment, storage. There's a lot of, like, the Karsten Homes always
All
ask
of
them to
that,
put
yeah.
that, they all
All
want
manufacturing.
storage stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's table it.
I think we should table it and maybe give us some time. What is it? It's October, right?
It ends September 30th, 2025, so that was a few months from now.
Do we need to motion to table it?
Yeah.
So I will motion to table the non-renew lease for North Parking Lot.
I will second that. We'll do a whole vote, Brittany Bonas, yes. Sorry, Brenda Fritz, yes. Charlotte Trio,
Yes.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I was said my name and I almost didn't say anything after, that's why I laughed. I was like, oh, that's me.
That's just you.
And then, this is to elect, officers, I would move that we table that as well.
Till everybody's here.
Right, until everybody's here and so that, you know, this is, it's first, actual.
Well, congratulations, you have my shirt, just kidding.
We've got ourselves a secretary.
You motion?
I motion to table.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll do roll call, Brittany Bonas, yes. Bernadette Fritz?
Yes.
Charlotte Trujillo?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, there's a little bit of confusion on the files, but, so we're gonna do the, fourth Wednesday, right? We're gonna, is it, in there it says Tuesday, just,
On the bylaws.
oh, we do Wednesdays though.
And everybody has their training?
Oh, trainings,
I finished mine last night.
Did you?
oh, great,
She's done too.
then we're all good. Yeah.
So,
We're all good.
yeah, I did mine.
Oh, yeah, you're voting, that's a good.
Yeah.
thing.
That's a good thing, huh?
Everyone counted it. Okay, so next month,
The 25th? No, the 25th?
The 26th.
26th of March. And we'll do the finance meeting is at 4 PM and then the regular governing council meeting will be at 5. March 26th. 6th. Okay, it is 6:42. And I will call this meeting adjourned.
Train ride,
I've been up
everything.
since 4. I woke up 4 on the weekdays, yeah.
Catch the train?
Yeah, I catch the train